we're talking about who should be the reserve right centre-back. Should there be another full-back? Yeah, it's Ben White. The answer's Ben White.
He's a disgrace. Ben White is
shut up. No, right, let me
What,
speak.
to say I don't want to come and play for England?
Let me speak on this.
Wow,
right. Jesus Christ.
Wow, Josh.
It really wound me up. Because he's just said he doesn't want to represent the country. It really wound me up.
Josh has gone Nigel Farage.
Yeah. Oh, Britannia.
Revealing his little bulldog tattoo we've never seen before. Can I speak on Ben White, please? Can I say a couple of things?
Can you explain it? And then I want to get Josh's...
I will explain it. And some of the stuff I'm going to say, you can read an Athletic article that came out last week. There's going to be some stuff I'm not going to go into too much detail. First of all, he did have an argument with Steve Holland. Steve Holland humiliated him in front of the rest of the squad.
Who's that? Steve Holland is
the assistant coach to Gareth Southgate, which Gareth Southgate did an interview last week, absolutely threw Ben White under the bus and said, to my knowledge, there's been nothing that happened in front of Steve Holland. You're a fucking liar, Gareth. You're a fucking liar, and you should be embarrassed by yourself. Why are you protecting your assistant managers? Why are you protecting them?
He's so good.
I'm going to say one more thing now.
Brilliant.
I'm going to say one more thing now. And there are people that know about this, there are people that don't. Something quite serious happened in Ben White's personal life when he left that England squad. It's not my place to say what that is, but people who know what it is know that there is actually a reason why you should maybe give him a little bit of slack with that, all right? And Gareth knows all about that, and he should be fucking ashamed of himself the way he threw him under a bus there. Steve Holland embarrassed Ben White in front of the rest of the squad. Ben White...
Do we know what the disagreement was or not, though? The actual... Right, the backstory is one thing. What was the beef around?
So apparently what it was is that Steve Holland, like they do extensive note sessions in the England camp. They go, you have to watch back your footage, you have to look what you did wrong. And he felt that Ben White wasn't taking that as seriously as he should. Ben White's argument was, well, look, I'm third choice here. Why are you expecting me to take this so seriously when I'm 3 places away from getting into the England team?
That's a disgrace.
Now, whether you think it's a disgrace or not, what Steve Holland then did is he tried to embarrass Ben White in front of the rest of the squad. Can I just say very, very clearly, I do not think that Ben White has come across well in all this at all. I think he's a bit of a weird guy, to be honest with you. I'm not sure how arsed he is about playing for England, but I do know for a fact that when he made his England debut, he put something on Instagram saying, this is one of the best moments of my life. I've loved putting this shirt on. It's something I've dreamed about forever. Ben White does want to play for England. He had an issue with Steve Holland. It should have been resolved. And by the way, that's on Ben White as well. Ben White should be resolving it. He's 26 years old. He's not a kid. But fuck Gareth Southgate throwing him under a bus.
I think you're what's wrong with the country, mate. Snowflake. Snowflake generation.
Can we just get Josh's take? Because I've never seen Josh.
I've never seen him like
quite
that.
as bad.
It really pissed me off because, like, also, right, I just think every sort of basically player in the world, up and down the country, would be absolutely delighted to play for England. And so to turn it down, I just don't understand. Like, there were players there, like James Ward-Prowse, won't be anywhere near the squad. He'd love to be playing for England, and I just find it so harsh.
When did he turn it down?
And basically, by the way, Steve Holland, like a very, very good assistant manager. Fair enough, something might have gone on, but quite frankly, he's probably one of the
assistant manager.
Mate, he was there with Jose. He was he was in the engine room of the Chelsea progression at Chelsea.
Okay,
he was absolutely brilliant. And with England, he's also put in some of the more tactical innovations. The Gareth Southgate is basically just a yes
Josh,
man,
you
Holland is the engine.
Let Josh finish.
No, absolutely. That's what I'm just saying. I think Steve Holland is a really good guy. For them to not just get over it. You're adults. He's 26. He's meant to be a sort of a leader in the Arsenal team. To sort of come in and just say, I can't sort of do that to get in an international tournament, the Euro, which we could win. He could get a winner's trophy. To not be anywhere near that because of a sort of a disagreement that he's had with a staff member.
It's not just a disagreement.
It's a joke.
He's gone out of his way to try and humiliate the player in front of the rest of the squad when something quite serious has happened in the player's personal life that everyone's aware of. Like that
humiliate.
Like, mate, for me,
when you say humiliate, when you say a word like humiliate, naturally the rest of us are going to say, how do you mean? Do you know what?
So he tried to use, the quote that everyone knows about Ben White where he's like, when I'm not playing, I don't watch football. He tried to use that against him to be like, this is the whole fucking thing. You don't actually like football, which is bollocks. Like, the actual quote itself was like a tongue-in-cheek thing. He was clearly taking the piss when he said it, Ben White. Of course I
think that's something about Ben's personality that he sort of needs to get out of it. Like, whenever I see him doing interviews, he's always sort of taking the piss out of journalists. Like, get on with the game, be a professional. People
but he does get on with the game. He does get on. He is a professional. He's one of the best fullbacks in the country.
Yeah, but
he's part of the best defenders.
That's why he should be in the squad. That's why he should be in the squad.
I take Jacob's point, like, he is a quality fullback, right? And we would like him to be available. And maybe the assistant manager was a dickhead. I'm sure he was, right? Let's just suggest that he was a bit much because clearly he's hurt the lad's feelings. But equally, as young men in our 20s, as we all were once upon a time, distant memory now, for me, if he was my son, I would be saying in his ear, mate, you're going to fucking regret this, you know.
Yeah, because
do you not think, even if he's a dickhead, because do you know what? Let's just say you're right? Let's just completely say Jacob's theory is completely right, and he was a bastard to you. I would say to him, you're going to let this assistant coach rob you of potentially a medal. And you will, if that England team win that trophy and you're not there because you had a disagreement with him, you're going to spend the rest of your fucking life thinking, I let you get the better of me and I deprive myself and my whole family of a medal. When I could have just sucked it up and got on with it.
If he just got on with it, by the way, if he just got on with it, by the way, he could be in this squad as a DM, as a right back, and as a centre back. He would absolutely be there.
Can I just be really clear, by the way? I'm not saying that I think Ben White is in the right with this. I've said already, I think that Ben White should sort this out with Steve.
But that shouldn't have happened.
What the point I'm making is Southgate shouldn't have thrown him under the bus. The whole thing that I started this conversation with was saying is the way that Southgate spoke about him, because you said it first, I said, you're right, he's a bullshitter. And that's what I don't like. If Southgate had come out in that interview and gone, you know what, there's a bit of problems between Ben White and some of my staff. It's not really anything for me to report, but that's the reason Ben's not in the squad.
He's never going to
do that. You can't.
Why?
You're asking for too much.
No.
You're not going to throw, again, Southgate, the one thing you can say about England that we've never seen before is harmonious. There's no, you believe Southgate and those boys, they're together. And that's why when you talk about Henderson and stuff, he rewards loyalty. So Southgate, he's doing what he said, what is on the tin. He's basically saying, Holland, you're my guy. We traveled this far together. You helped me prepare. That's one player in the whole of the squad selected. Now, I think it's a bit ridiculous that we're saying, because everyone's parent has said, you're going to work with a few dickheads along the way. Deal with it. You need to be able to deal with it. Go ahead.
You're a big supporter of Ten Hag. He has said little things here and there where he gives you a glimmer of truth, but he doesn't expose the whole story.
Yes.
Maybe he could have done that, though, because, like you're saying, what Southgate is doing, he's lying to us.
He's protecting Holland.
No, but you can protect them by backing him. What Southgate is inferring is that this is all the figment of Ben White's imagination and that nothing's even happened. He's acting like nothing happened.
That's
what my problem.
That's the gaslighting.
Exactly. The fact that he's outright said nothing happened, you're lying, mate.
Yeah,
you can say what happens in camp stays in camp. I'm not commenting on that. You can do that. In that way, you're not throwing Steve Holland under a bus. You're also not throwing Ben White under a bus, right? But the fact that he outright lied about the player when there was something quite serious going on in his personal life, I've lost an awful lot of respect for Southgate in that. And the only thing I hope, and I completely agree, by the way, let me be really clear. I agree that someone should be in Ben White's ear going, come on, mate, sort it out. Come on, mate, suck it up. Even you don't have to get on with the guy, just suck it up.
Hard life.
I think Ben White's probably looking at this and going, it's one more tournament. The way I'm playing for Arsenal, the next manager's going to have me in. I think.
It's the one thing that makes me look at Gareth Southgate, who's seen as whiter than white, in a negative way.